What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenneth Smith, and welcome to the first solo episode of 2026, and I'm not going to take you too long. I want to get straight into it because you guys clicked on this episode for a reason, right? The title is Stop Trying to Be Normal. It's Ruining Your Life. And that might sound very dramatic. First of all, it very may well be, but I want you to click on the episode, so I have to be a little bit dramatic sometimes. That's how the internet works, friends. But the more that I think about it, the more that I realize that I'm not actually being dramatic. You're just not realizing the importance of the topic. So first of all, I need to just take a moment to appreciate the fact that I am sipping on a Gorilla Mind Red Gummy Fish energy drink. And because a lot of you know that I am an energy drink professional on the internet, I need to talk about it because, man, if you like Swedish Fish, and Ghost recently discontinued their Swedish Fish energy drink, it's right there. It's on the money. It's that familiar flavor that we all love. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's delicious. It's refreshing. It's not too sweet. The Ghost one, I love Ghost, but I had to be in the mood for that Swedish Fish energy drink because it got a little bit too sweet sometimes. This one is perfect. And the thing that I love about Gorilla Mind the most is that it's a full nootropic blend. So for those of you who don't know what a nootropic is, it basically helps with concentration, productivity, mental clarity. It's a thing that gets you to dial the fuck in when you're doing anything in life. And I love being dialed in, especially when I'm doing a podcast because my mind can wander very easily. Not a sponsor. I just need to talk about it because I'm absolutely hyper fixated with it right now, and the can is very nice and scaly, so it's little things, guys. Maybe one day Gorilla Mind will be a sponsor of this podcast. Gotta dream big because we don't want to be normal here, but I feel like I have an obligation to talk about the energy drink that I'm drinking while I'm doing a podcast, just because it's my personality now. But let's roll right into this topic. So this was triggered for a few different reasons. There's always a reasoning behind when I talk on these solo episodes as to the topic that I pick. A lot of it comes down to the thoughts that I've been having over the last couple weeks, not just heading into 2026, but I'm on a journey with trying to become a professional CrossFit athlete, trying to build the Powerhouse Journal, trying to build the Powerhouse Mentality, being a content creator, being a coach, being a wife, being all these things that I never actually slow down. So when the new year begins, I'm not the person who's setting New Year's resolutions. However, I will not try to argue the fact that it is a perfect time to do a reset, or a perfect time, rather, to stop and ask yourself, am I on the right path? Am I doing the things that I want to do in life? Or am I holding myself back out of fear or anything else? I think it's a good time to do some thinking and to really reevaluate and reassess where you're at and where you're going, and if it's still the path that you want to be on. So over the last couple of weeks, I've really been thinking about the idea of how, because I'm living this life every day that I live, it's normal to me. But if I were to tell somebody what I do on a daily basis and the intensity that I go, they wouldn't fully understand it because it's unique or so different, because it's not normal. It's not what the average person does. And I get lost in that a lot. I was having a conversation with my nutrition coach yesterday, and she was talking about how we need to increase my calories, which is basically the story of my life at this point. And I was like, the crazy thing is, I truly don't believe I even train that hard, or I don't train that much volume, until I take a step back and I actually think about it. Or when I have a deload week is when I really realize it. So a deload week is when you back off intensity, you back off of volume in order to give your body time to recover, which in turn helps your body see better results. It's almost like a little reset button for your mind and your body, because training can be extremely mentally taxing. People don't even realize it. But the point of me saying this is that I don't realize what I'm doing until I look at it from an outsider's perspective. And I think that a lot of us probably find ourselves in there. I'll have a conversation with somebody and they think that what they do for work isn't that exciting. However, whatever you do for work is probably very interesting and exciting to me, because it's not my normal. It's not what I do every day. So even if you think your job is boring, it isn't to people who don't do it. So it's worth talking about. So for anybody who wants to start creating content and they think, oh, like, my life's not that exciting, it's not to you, but it is to others. There have been so many people who have gone completely viral on social media by literally just showing their 9 to 5 routine, or their 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5, or their 5 to 9 after their 9 to 5, all these different renditions that they do. And if you actually watch these videos, they're not doing anything exceptional, but they're doing something that's different from what you do. So to you, it's exciting, it's different, and we like novelty. So being normal isn't anything that I want to chase. And that's something that I've come to the conclusion of many times in my life, but as of recent has been something that's really been on my mind, especially with the holidays and having family come in and realizing that, oh, why does she have to eat like that? Oh, why does she train so much? My family, my husband's family came for Christmas and they actually accept me very much. And I believe that they almost look at me in a good sense. Oh, it's really cool that she does all of that. And she's very disciplined and she's going far in life. They really respect me and I appreciate that. But I've dated people in the past where it's a completely different scenario, where the person is like, why do you always have to work that much? Why are you always working out? Why do you have to track your nutrition like that? And I'm not saying that you have to be robotic like I am or I can be, but I'm saying that you don't need to try to be normal to fit somebody else's perception on what you should be or what normal should look like. Because the reality is, when people are shaming you or judging you for you doing something that's different, it's probably because they know deep down inside they don't have the discipline to do something like that, and it makes them feel insecure, so they take it out on you. This was really sparked, though. This morning, a client shot me a text, and a client asked me today, why does success feel so hard? Is it because I have the wrong definition of success? And my answer was simple. No. Your definition isn't wrong, but your expectations are off. Success is hard. What else is hard? Being broke, being unhealthy, being exhausted all the time, being stuck in relationships that drain you. Those are really hard too. And the mistake that people make is thinking there's a version of life where nothing is hard. There isn't. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Every path is hard. You don't get to avoid difficulty. You only get to choose which difficulty you live with. Poor health is hard. Great health is hard. Living paycheck to paycheck is really fucking hard. But so is building financial security. Shallow relationships, toxic relationships are hard. Deep, honest relationships are hard. But the difference is that one hard is going to lead to progress and freedom, while the other hard is going to lead to regret and limitation. And society keeps selling us this idea that the comfortable route is easier. It's not easier. It just delays the pain and usually makes that pain worse when it does hit you. So you can choose comfort now and discomfort later, or you can choose discomfort now and comfort later, and those are the only options that you have. Most people choose the former over the latter. So let's talk about what normal actually is. Because if you're trying to be normal, this is what you're signing up for. 74% of adults are overweight and 42% are qualified as obese. 76.4% of US adults have at least one chronic condition, things like high blood pressure, diabetes, and many of these things are preventable through lifestyle. Genetics may load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. Don't listen to Oprah. Oprah doesn't know what she's talking about when it comes to obesity is genetic. Again, genetics can load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. The only thing Oprah needs to be talking about right now is how she needs to start taking personal responsibility for her actions. We avoid personal responsibility because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame circumstances, systems, people, than it is to say, I chose this and I can choose differently. So remember this, that wherever you point the finger of blame, that's where the power goes. And you can easily take your power back to be able to change and take action by pointing that finger of blame right back at yourself. It's not comfortable, but I promise it's worth it. Only 55% of adults have enough money saved to cover 3 months of expenses, and the average American read just 2 books last year. That's not success. That's not even an attempt at success. That's just survival. Think about it with books. That is the lowest hanging fruit. You can learn from people's mistakes. You can educate yourself and be more creative when you read. I know for myself, if I go a long while without reading, I'm just not as creative. I'm not as good. I just don't feel like I can think the right way. But when I start to open my mind up to all these different perspectives, I feel better. And then here's what I see over and over again. People start doing something different. They train consistently. They clean up their nutrition. They start learning. They build a skill. They go after something more. And then it gets uncomfortable. They feel tired. They feel different. They feel judged. They feel isolated. They feel behind. And instead of staying in it, they quit. Not because it isn't working, but because it doesn't feel like it's normal anymore. Every time you push past the norm, discomfort is going to show up. Expect that's not a sign of something wrong. It's actually a sign that you're probably doing something right. On the other side of that discomfort is the strongest, clearest, best, and most capable version of yourself. But most people never meet that version because they leave too soon. And at some point, I just stopped trying to fit in. For the majority of my life, I did so much to try to fit in. I was bullied, I was made fun of, and I never did. And now I actively try to be uncommon. I track my nutrition, I'll train for hours, I stay up late working on my business, I have a podcast, I create content, I think deeply, I read, I push limits. And I don't say this to say, oh, I'm better than you. I say this because I want you to understand that this is what you should chase. Don't chase normal. Chase being the best, most unique, most uncommon version of you. Whatever that looks like to you. For me, that's what this is. But for you, it could be something different. Something that you might be afraid to pursue because you're afraid of being judged. But who fucking cares? You get one life. You. It's not their life. It's your life. So I want you to remember that every single time that you start to think about what other people think of you. When you try to do something that you actually want to pursue. Chase your passions. Chase something that lights your soul on fire. I promise you, it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. People are going to say something. They're going to think you're addicted. They're going to think you have a problem, that it's not healthy. Don't listen to them. Unless you're actually addicted to something, then listen to them. Like, I'm not talking about drugs here, friends. So if you're addicted to drugs or alcohol, this is a completely different conversation. Just need to throw that in here. People are going to say you're obsessed, that you have a problem, that it's not healthy. Why can't you just relax? I've heard this so many times in my life, and my answer to this now is, yes, I am obsessed. I'm addicted to not being average. I'm addicted to becoming the best version of myself. Not just for me, but for my family, for my clients, for the people I interact with, for the people who consume my content. For the people I interact with on a daily basis. Being uncommon requires uncommon actions. You don't accidentally build a great life and stumble into success. You don't drift into success accidentally. You choose it daily, even when it's uncomfortable. So if success feels hard right now, good. That means you're doing something different. That means you're pushing past normal. That means you're building something most people never will. So stop asking, why does this feel so hard? And start asking, is this the hard that builds the life that I want? Because average is easy in the short term and devastating in the long term. And if being obsessed with growth makes me different, I'll take that every single day and twice on Sundays. So the biggest takeaway from this podcast, stop trying to be normal. Normal is unhealthy. Normal is broke. Normal is stuck. Choose your hard and choose it on purpose. That sounds really cliche, but I promise it's the damn truth. So go out today and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.